So good morning students, welcome all of you in first lecture of chapter number 14 or unit 14. This is statistics. This chapter you will study in 9th and 10th both classes. So before starting this chapter, let us discuss some basic points. First basic point is, what is the meaning of statistics? Statistics is the study of the collection, analysis, interpretation and organization of the data. Sometimes we use data in the form of the table, that is frequency distribution table or group frequency distribution table. Sometimes we collect data and we draw graph by using the data and to show the results. Third, we can find out sometime mean, mode and median, means there are many tools to find to show the data. Now second, data is of two types. First is primary data and second is secondary data. So let us study the definition of primary data. That data which is collected by a researcher from first-hand sources like interview, experiment, etc. is called primary data. Means that the data which is collected by a person himself by taking a definite objective in his mind is called the primary data. Like if somebody says that how many students are in your school, then you will count one by one and then you will tell the strength, that is a form of primary data. Now secondary data, that data which is collected from a source which already had the information stored is called secondary data. Means that data which you collect by the information that is already in the books, or you get the information by using the TV or by the newspaper, means by other source. If you take the information, then that type of data is called secondary data. So let us take one example of the secondary data. Like somebody says that what is the literacy rate of Haryana or of India, then you will take the help of book or internet and then you will tell the answer. So this type of data is called the secondary data. So these three definitions must be clear in your mind before starting the chapter. First is statistics. So it is the study of collection, analysis, interpretation and organization of data. Primary data is that data which we collect ourselves by having some definite objective in our mind, and secondary which that data which is collected by using the other source is called secondary data. Now let us go to the first exercise 14.1, very small exercise, only two questions are there. So in this exercise we are having only two questions. Question first, give 5 example of data you can collect from day-to-day life. So I just take the help of the answer given in the book so that you feel comfortable. So first, number of students in our class. Second example, number of fan in our school. Third example, electricity bills of our house for last 2 years. Fourth, election result obtained from TV or newspapers. Fifth, literacy rate figures obtained from educational surveys. So it is not necessary that you give this type of example. Any other example from day-to-day life you can take and give your answers. Second question, classify the data in question first above as primary or secondary data. Now in first question we take some example. Now in second question we want to separate primary and secondary data. Like number of students in our class, this is primary data. Then number of fan in our school, this is also primary data. Electricity bill of our house for last 2 years, this is also primary data. But if I take this fourth and fifth example, election result obtained from TV or newspaper, this is secondary data, because for this information you take the help of TV or newspaper. Then literacy rate figures obtained from education survey, this is also secondary data, because again you take the help of education survey, or you can say you take the help of books or any other source. So this type of data is called the secondary data. So generally question of 1 or 2 mark can come from the first exercise. Like in question it may be asked that give one example of primary data, or give one example or 2 example of secondary data. So tomorrow we will start second exercise 14.2.